In the first place, please, you have to follow university-specific in-house style. Every university has its own style on writing dissertation.
But also poor proposal writing, also lack of concentration on the dissertation. People don't concentrate on writing whatever they want to write.
But also the length, maximum and minimum of pages. You understand from Mzumbe, I think you know the number. Follow the guideline. You cannot submit a dissertation which is 30 pages, which is 20 pages, and however good it will be. This is not a term paper. So follow those things, my friends. And I've been telling some of you that there is no way I can accept this week because you have not met the minimum number of pages.
Language problems, lack of focus, you see, it brings errors. We'll say someone is not focusing on the objectives, but also ignoring the guidelines of the university is another problem.
You have to read a lot, really, in order to be able to give a proper introduction and background and the context of this chapter. You have to understand issues. What some people do is copy-pasting. Yeah, because I'm writing on SME, then everything on SME is copy and pasted there. That is wrong.
Don't hire writers, please. Write yourself. You know, if you write yourself, you shall be given a task, maybe by UN or by whatever organization, international. You can do it yourself.
Sometimes really it will be a course just on literature review, on critiquing the literature. Yes, XYZ has said this and that on this matter that I'm writing. So critique, give your own view, give your own opinion. Don't cite.
Be flat for masters. That is poor grade. If you be flat, for you, focus on A first, and then B by accident, B plus by accident. No, B flat. That should be your motto.
That's why I'm saying after your findings, my friend, you should not just say hallelujah, that's it. Go back to the literature and say, what did the literature say? What are my findings are? To what extent are we speaking the same language? Don't force your findings to be similar to the literature. Otherwise, there would be no need of going to the field anyway.
Is it good spelling? That's what you do, because that is a field. You see, because I've seen some people write per capita income. They say per capita income. So instead of having capita, they capital. You see, so those things have to be there, because I'm the language person.
And someone tells me, but you're using a lot of effort. Why don't you put the full stop for me here? The master's thesis is not for me. I have mine already. It's yours. You have to know why the dot should be here, why the question mark should be here. The basis of this presentation really is my over 20 years of experience in writing and marking dissertations. I've written also my own dissertations at master's level, at PhD level. I've marked quite a number as supervisor, but also as external examiner. But also, you know, we have been editing a number of works, journals, books, book chapters, etc., etc. And I've said here we have real experience from several places. And what we want to do now is to share this experience, to make sure that you are not reinventing the wheel. We don't like you don't need necessarily to go through the hard path that we went through if we have what it takes really to make your life easier. That is Mzumbe. Mzumbe motto is jifunze kwa maendeleo ya watu. So if we have what it takes, it's good to share with you guys so that we make your life relatively easier, but also you come with the best of the document. So I will start first with the very, very general comments on the things that I've been observing in these dissertations over years. So sometimes, of course, when I'm saying these things, I'm also seeing the comment that I gave some of you. So I will not give specific example. I will say, for example, Kongba, for example, Mtafia, for example, Fanuel, for example, Viran, for example, no, general. So in the first place, please, you have to follow university-specific in-house style. Every university has its own style on writing dissertation, on writing its thesis, for example. Things like a number of pages, things like the wording, things like how the cover page looks like. Because I'm saying this because sometimes some students, I give them comments, they say, but this dissertation from University of Dar es Salaam was accepted and it does not look the way you are saying. you are not studying at the University of Dar es Salaam. And I would have said the same. I've been external examining at Makerere, I've external examined at Northwest University in South Africa. Some will say, but sir, reports from other universities are like this. Remember, you are in this specific university. And I guess maybe there are some people from other universities here because I extended invitation for everybody. It's quite okay. Right, according to the style, according to the guideline of your university. That's why I think the first comment that I have been giving you guys is follow Mzumbe University guideline on dissertation writing. That is exactly what I mean. You follow it, because when it comes to marking, when it goes to external examiner, the external examiner will be given the Mzumbe University guideline, will be told, please, this is the guideline, see whether this student has followed this guideline. So that's why it is very, very important. For example, wordings in the cover page. Most of you guys have been telling you, make sure you write correctly the way it is supposed to be. For example, the top cover after the university logo, after your name, now where you are saying, this is dissertation for partial fulfillment of XYZ. Those words are standard. Don't compose your own words. This is exactly what I mean. And of course, later, as I'm going to say, some of you are now submitting dissertation report, but you see, still you see people writing, this is a research, this is a report, a proposal. This is, we are not at the proposal stage yet. I mean, you are no longer at the proposal stage. You have moved there. This is a dissertation. So there are few things, but as an external examiner, I can say, well, I was supposed to be marking final report, and here is submitting, or she is submitting a dissertation, a proposal. Put it aside. You get my point? So really follow the words. But also the length, maximum and minimum number of pages. You understand from Mzumbe, I think you know the number. Follow the guideline. You cannot submit a dissertation which is 30 pages, which is 20 pages, and however good it will be. This is not a term paper. So follow those things, my friends. And I've been telling some of you that there is no way I can accept this week because you have not met the minimum number of pages. 20, 30 pages, it's a joke. 40 pages, it's a joke. 50 pages, I think 60 plus, and of course, excluding the the appendices. Now you go and read the requirement, you'll see. But also the question of formatting. There is a specific format that has been given by Mzumbe University. Go and read it. I will not read it for you guys because you understand exactly what it is. A script type and font size, Times New Roman. I think it's Times New Roman, font 12. And this has to be followed consistently. Sometimes I read, yes, it's Times New Roman. I go on, I find Calibra, I find Scudo. You should not really mix those things. You have to follow those things. I'm sure the editor will talk about those things later. But also number of pages. Now you have to number your pages accordingly. We have what we call preliminary pages. And then there's other pages. There are pages that have to be numbered accordingly, and it differentiates again here dissertation from a proposal. And I'm saying this because for the students that I'm supervising now again, you are reading in between. You find the word this is a proposal, while you submitted as a final work. If I were to be rude, I would say I'm not reading proposals now. Let me put it aside. Let me read final reports. But that's why we're here to make sure that you use very good the 10 days that you remain with to make sure that you really remove those mistakes, common mistakes. For example, now on the preliminary pages, issues like you have to include all the content of preliminary pages. I've seen people submitting without having the certification part of the preliminary report. You have to make sure, and of course you understand exactly this certification, copyright, these are standard things really. Issues of dedication, these are standard things that we expect they should be there. Issues of acknowledgement, it's normal. And within acknowledgement, it's up to you to choose who you acknowledge have no problem. But under normal circumstances, the supervisor, because I'm not talking about me only, the supervisor has guided you all along. And is not mentioned anywhere in the acknowledgement. It does not make sense. I will not penalize you for not doing that, but it does not really make sense. Issues of abstract. You have to know that within the preliminary pages there are abstracts, and of course later I will tell you exactly what is it that is expected of you in the abstract. Again, another thing that I think you guys have been missing out, a common mistake really everywhere, is abbreviation. You have to give the list of abbreviations and an acronym. in the pages that is required, and it has to be organized alphabetically from A to Z if you're in English language. I also speak Norwegian, I write Norwegian, I write Danish, I write Swedish. So if I'm in Norway, I would say from A to, there is O. You know, in Norwegian language we have 2 alphabets more after Z. But I guess nobody is writing Norwegian here. So maybe who be writing Norwegian. If I was writing Norwegian, I would say A to Z. There are double A's somewhere in Norway. So you write them alphabetically. So some of you guys have been giving you comment and saying, but B comes before Q, Q comes after D. That is what I mean. Arrange them alphabetically, you know. And you can, you know, it's a simple, you have to do that. And of course, the other thing is normally, don't assume that everybody understands the abbreviations. It's a technical, it's a standard writing style where all abbreviations normally, once they appear in the first place, you write them in full, and then you abbreviate in brackets. If you are writing, call it ICT, for information communication technology, even if you think everybody knows it, or FDA, Master Business Administration, yes, everybody knows it, but don't assume that everybody knows it. Writing standard will tell you, write all abbreviations in full, and then you abbreviate in brackets. It's a small thing, but it may take a mark from you. And this 1 mark may move you from A plus to A, from A to B, B to B plus, you know, from B to C. And this may be the thing that denies you admission into your PhD, or denies you getting, call it a scholarship, getting you a promotion, etc. So you have really to take care of, pay attention to details. They look to be small things, but some of you that have been writing, some have been writing a whole sentence to tell you to put a full stop here. And someone tells me, but you're using a lot of effort. Why don't you put the full stop for me here? The master's thesis is not for me. I have mine already. It's yours. You have to know why the dot should be here, why the question mark should be here. You know, those are supervised. Sometimes the red ink, the red color comes much more than the black color. I want you to understand exactly why things are the way they are. So, if abbreviation, of course, appear again, that's when you write it in full. I think you understand. Now, you would see in the requirement for your thesis, you have to have an abstract. Some of you have been submitting without abstract. And if you read in Mzumbe University, what we call in-house style, you know there are guidelines on the length in terms of number of pages, number of words, actually, number of words. Go there, read it. I don't like to read it for you. It's your work. But the key content in abstract, because I'm seeing some people really coming with abstract, like look like, you know, they've just taken part of the introduction. In the abstract, really you have to tell us what is it that is the whole research is about. In other words, there's 80, there's 100 pages that you have written. If I read them in only, call it 300, 500 pages, words maximum, I should be able to get a flavor, a gesture of exactly what you wanted to say. So you have to tell me what was the research all about. In a sentence or two, you have to tell it, which methodology did you use? Very briefly. For remember, you have the methodology chapter anyway. So you don't need now to start saying, according to Kothari, and all of you, sometimes I'll come there. All of you cite Kothari as if she or he was the only writer. I'll come to that war later. But what you're saying really, you just write the methodology very briefly. You don't need to write class notes on methodology in the abstract. Briefly, which methodology did you use? Again, what are the major findings? Just say the major findings of this research were XYZ. You know, as simple as that. And then what conclusions are you making based on your study, but also what recommendations are you giving? Very briefly, very briefly. But also, normally, and this is the trick, normally really there's 300 words, or there's 500 words if it's 500, you write them at the end of everything else. Actually, you write them when you have finished everything, because it's a summary, it's a synthesis, it's an epitome, you're epitomizing, you are summarizing each and everything. Methodology chapter, what are the key issues there? The literature review chapter, what are the key issues there? And how should they look like? Later, I'll discuss. It will tell you the chapter on findings. What are the key issues? The findings and the discussion. What are the key issues that should be there? Please follow it very clean.